What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Dillian Whyte counter offers Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn says he offered Dillian Whyte $4 million or upward of $4 million for the rematch with Anthony Joshua, April 13th. Now reports are coming out that Dillian Whyte is asking for $7 million, no less than $7 million. So. Like I reported yesterday, I said this yesterday. I said I didn't know what Dillian Whyte's highest payday was because it's not reported. I know that he was offered $5 million for the Derek Chisora rematch. I know that Charles Martin received $8.6 million for the Anthony Joshua fight, but Charles Martin brought to the table the IBF title. Dillian Whyte is not a title holder, and Dillian Whyte already fought Anthony Joshua and lost via knockout. So he can't expect to get, he has improved. He hasn't lost since. Actually, that's the only blemish on his record. But he can't expect to get a high payday like Charles Martin because he doesn't bring that to the table, and actually he already lost. So with that said, he can't expect to get 8.6, close to $9 million. I do expect him to get more than the $5 million he reportedly was given for the Derek Chisora fight. If he receives somewhere in between, as I reported yesterday, would be about $7 million, right? And lo and behold, just like I told you guys, the asking number for Dillian Whyte is $7 million. Didn't I tell you? I told you guys yesterday, I said Derek Chisora fight, he was offered $5 million. For the Derek Chisora fight, that was on record. Derek Chisora, Dillian Whyte, Eddie Hearn all had this, public spat in the, on social media. It was all recorded. Derek Chisora said, Dillian Whyte said, "Give me $5 million." Eddie Hearn said, "Let's make it happen." Derek Chisora accepted, and lo and behold, we saw Derek Chisora versus Dillian Whyte 2. That just took place December 22nd, 2018, which saw Dillian Whyte win via spectacular knockout. Now, with that said, Dillian Whyte already faced Anthony Joshua, and he's already lost. He's not a star like Anthony Joshua. Let's not get it twisted. Dillian Whyte is claiming to be a pay-per-view star. That's a pay-per-view star in the UK. He's not a pay-per-view star in the sport of boxing. He's a domestic pay-per-view star, just like Anthony Joshua. Although Anthony Joshua is more known throughout the sport of boxing than Dillian Whyte, right? And he's beaten Dillian Whyte to his defense already. So Dillian Whyte, like I said, you could, at this point in time, he could demand whatever he wants because Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn, the back's against the wall because they already booked the date in the venue, and they put the carriage before the horse. As I've been saying, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury fought to a draw in a classic fight, and they're gonna have a rematch. They put the carriage before the horse because they thought they would get one of those fighters to fight April 13th at Wembley Stadium, which is a huge venue, which is the Madison Square Garden of the UK, right? So they're not going to take no lackluster performances, lackluster events, should I say. And with that said, now their choices have been narrowed down to either Ortiz, Whyte, or Miller. Gerald Big Baby Miller fight is going to have to take place in the States, right? They're not ready. They're somewhat ready to cross the pond, but they're not ready to commit to coming across the pond and fighting in the States, okay? And with that said, that would leave Eddie Hearn in the bond because he already booked Wembley Stadium and he secured the date in the venue, which is going to put him in a bond and could put him in legal hot water, seeing as though you already booked the venue and held them up, and then you don't have an event to put on there, right? So you're backing out, essentially, and they could sue you, right? Because they're going to lose money now. So he has to put on some sort of event, and to come to the States to fight Gerald Big Baby Miller would be is the thing they want to do if they can't get the Wilder Fury, one of those fighters. But like I said, they already put the carriage before the horse and booked that venue. Should they not have booked that venue, then they would have just said, "Listen, okay, we're gonna fight Gerald Miller at Madison Square Garden." But that's not the case. It's not gonna happen. Okay, so with that said, we're gonna get Now that leaves you with Dillian Whyte and Luis King Kong Ortiz. That X's out Gerald Big Baby Miller. And it's very clear that Luis King Kong Ortiz is not an option. Point blank and period. It's not even necessary to go into it. He's just not an option. We heard Anthony Joshua come out and state that, he want to fight Ortiz, Miller, and Whyte. I told you guys he named it in that order. It was total polar opposite. It was reversed. That wasn't the order. He gave you from last to first. He didn't give you from first to last. I've been telling you guys the order is flipped. It's White, Miller, Ortiz, right? He said, if you listen to Anthony Joshua, he says, "Oh, I want to fight Ortiz, Miller, or White if I can't get Wilder or Fury." And I told you guys that's not the order. He told you that, guys. It's all wordplay. He told you that, guys, in reverse. Point blank and period. He said Ortiz, Miller, White. In all reality, it's White, Miller, Ortiz, right? Ortiz is absolutely break if you break in case you have an emergency. Break glass in case you have an emergency. Point blank and period. He's not a true option. And with that said, so then that leaves you with Dillian Whyte. Now, of course, Dillian Whyte could demand the stars and he'll land on the moon. Point blank and period. And he should, because their backs against the wall. They don't have another option outside of Ortiz, because I explained to you what would take place with the Gerald Miller situation. So they're going to have to face and give overpaid Dillian Whyte to face him April 13th at Wembley Stadium to their own doing, because they should not, Eddie Hearn should not have booked that venue and secured that date and putting the carriage before the horse before he had anything set in stone. But see, like they were saying that they were going to negotiate with Deontay Wilder on December 2nd, immediately following the fight, because they thought in their minds it was a foregone conclusion. Deontay Wilder was going to knock Tyson Fury out, because they were spreading a propaganda that Tyson Fury wasn't ready. He needed more time. He needed more comeback fights. And I told you guys over and over, you watch my videos, that you're going to get the same Tyson Fury that you always get versus Vladimir Klitschko and any other fight. Don't let what they're telling you fool you. I've been telling you guys that. You're going to get the same version of Tyson Fury that fought Vladimir Klitschko, if not better, and you got if not better, right? And so they put the carriage before the horse. They were already preparing to negotiate with Deontay Wilder December 2nd, and if those negotiations fell through, they were going to place the blame on Deontay Wilder's front steps, on his porch, and say that he's the reason that the fight didn't happen, and move on from there, right? And then Dillian Whyte be the second option, so on and so forth. You get the picture, right? But now that didn't happen. As I said, plans change. You cannot predict the future. People always say, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him what you're going to do tomorrow. Period, right? And so with that said, because life is not guaranteed. So with that said, Dillian Whyte is in a perfect position to demand the stars, and he's not going to get the stars, but he'll land on the moon. So he wants $7 million. Eddie Hearn said he's offering upwards of $4 million. His double his highest payday. I don't know. I can't get into that because of Dillian Whyte's highest payday is not recorded, so it's not to be found. So I said to you that Charles Martin received 8.6. Whyte was offered $5 million to fight Chisora. He'll land somewhere in between there. And exactly like I told you guys, Dillian Whyte is asking for $7.7 million. But that's all I got for y'all. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. Dillian Whyte counters Eddie Hearn's offer, wants $7 million. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.